chips? Want to see something really cool?
The boy felt confused. He had no idea how House suddenly appeared. At that moment, House made a judgment. It turned out that when the boy left yesterday, he was tripped by two people after stepping outside, but he didn't think much of it. That's when House determined he had a rare condition called motion blindness, which caused him to intermittently be unable to see moving objects. It might also be accompanied by symptoms of seizures. Before House could finish speaking, the boy suddenly collapsed to the ground. His body convulsed. House was excited by this abnormal phenomenon. He suspected the boy's condition might be genetically inherited, but the boy's only relative was his father, who had already fallen into a vegetative state. So, House had no choice but to give him anti-seizure medication. Then he instructed his assistants to test his DNA and conduct a thorough investigation. But before the results came in, the boy suddenly began to feel unwell. The doctors lifted his shirt and found a purple-red area near his liver. This indicated that his liver was failing. Suddenly, the boy started coughing up blood, though the doctors immediately called for backup and performed emergency resuscitation. The boy still fell into a coma.
His condition was rapidly deteriorating. They urgently needed the boy's medical history for targeted testing. House pinned his hopes on the coma patient, hoping to find the cause from him. But the experimental drug had an extremely low chance of success. Even if the patient woke up, he would have less than a day of clarity. Upon learning of House's plan, the hospital director immediately tried to stop him, because the experimental drug carried severe risks. The slightest error could kill the coma patient on the spot. But House, being the stubborn maverick he was, completely ignored the director's warnings. After all, the man was already in a coma. If they could uncover the cause of the boy's illness, House was willing to take the risk. As the drug was injected, the director exploded in anger. Unexpectedly, the very next second, the coma patient woke up. After allowing the man a moment to adjust, House delivered the news that his son was dying, expecting the father to be frantic with worry. But the man showed no concern for his dying son. He even wanted to use his single day of clarity to go on a trip and enjoy what little life he had left. To uncover the boy's illness, House had no choice but to follow him. During the long journey, House managed to extract some information. The man didn't like his son, because the boy only numbed himself with alcohol. When the boy was young, his father often took him to boatyards to play. This gave House a sudden suspicion. Boats are often painted with mercury-based paint. Since the boy was young, he frequently inhaled mercury vapors, damaging his central nervous system, which triggered the seizures. Combined with his alcoholism, the dual assault of alcohol and mercury on his body damaged his kidneys and liver. House immediately ordered his team to test the boy for mercury poisoning. But before the results came back, the boy's heart suddenly began to fail. Though they managed to stabilize him with adrenaline, time was running out for both House and the boy. To make matters worse, the mercury test came back negative, meaning House's theory was wrong yet again.
What happened on the night of the fire?
My wife had taken a sleeping pill and gone to bed. I let Kyle pop corn in the fireplace. He managed to knock loose some tinder. Wrapping paper caught on fire. It spread so fast. I got Kyle out. When I went back in for...
You're a disappointment. Act as though you don't need anybody. You just blame your son for what happened.
I don't blame him. He was a 12-year-old boy. You don't blame a kid for an accident.
At this moment, House began to feel a sense of doubt. Logically, a 12-year-old boy shouldn't be unable to hold a plate steady. Considering what the man had said earlier, that both his wife and mother-in-law had been in a car accident at night, House immediately thought of a rare condition called red fiber syndrome. This is a hereditary disease passed down through the mother's side. Its symptoms include poor night vision, muscle weakness, and lack of coordination. The boy had been drinking heavily, and this chain reaction led to all the symptoms showing up. But just as House instructed his assistant to check the boy's DNA, he realized it was too late. By then, the boy's heart was already in critical condition, and he urgently needed a heart transplant. However, the hospital's policy prevented organ transplants for people with alcohol abuse. Now the boy could only wait to die. Upon hearing the news, the father stood by the window, thinking for a long time. He finally made the decision to give his own heart to his son. The boy's tragic condition was caused by a genetic disorder. The father not only misunderstood him but also led his son to fall into self-blame, drinking every day to escape reality. But what he didn't expect was that the hospital's policy prohibited organ donations from living donors, especially for the heart. So, the hospital director refused the transplant request. However, the man already had a plan. He pushed House out into the hallway and then, alone in his room, ended his own life. 6 hours later, both of them were pushed into the operating room. The surgery was a success, and the boy made a full recovery. From then on, he would live on with his father's spirit.